First up, Alastair, how do you just assess that one overall?
Yeah, well, they jumped us at the start. You know, we had our chance in the first quarter, strangely enough, but we just didn't connect inside 50 as well as what they did, and you know, I think it was 5-2 to 1-4 or something. So similar sort of scoring shots and opportunities in the first quarter, but they just got them a bit cleaner and put some space between us on the scoreboard. And we actually, from that point in time, we actually won the game in terms of scoreboard, not by a significant margin, only by a goal or so. So we got ourselves back into the game, and pleasingly, what we'd spoken about all across the summer was trying to compete for longer into games, and that game was still alive with 5 minutes to go. It's just unfortunate they kicked the first couple of goals of the last quarter, which is credit to them. You know, they just thought with the right across the game, they're just a little bit more polished with their the shape with which they use the handball and get a Western Bulldogs player out in space. You know, they've been outstanding at that for Bevo's whole tenure really. And they were really, really good at it again today. And you only need to be 5% below your opposition in that space, and they'll hurt you. And that's why, you know, ultimately they were able to get some really, really good looks at the footy when they went inside 50.
Did it feel a bit frustrating in the sense that, you know, you were so good in the clearances, the centre clearances, from majority of the first half, but just as you touched on, couldn't quite get the bang for buck? Just the sense that it's sort of like a similar trend to like last year and that sort of thing.
We worked really hard on that, but you know, when the ball's in congestion, you know, there's this fight and this tension between the two sides in terms of who's got the inside control of the contest and who's got the outside. And each coach and each team is going in there saying, well, if you've got the inside control, at least your first chance of getting your hands on the ball. But if you are on the inside, then you better do something special to get it to the outside. And that's ultimately that's where the Dogs are really, really strong. They hold their balance really strongly, and when they do get it to the outside, it's usually to a teammate in space. And that's what we were unable to combat strongly enough tonight. Yeah, they were just a little bit more polished, not by a significant margin, because all the stats would suggest that it wasn't convincing one side or the other, but I just thought that was the difference in the game. They were just a bit more polished around those congested areas than what we were.
Was it also, it felt like you made a few fundamental mistakes, or just fundamentals of the game, drop choice marks or a missed kick or something?
And that, I reckon there was maybe, especially from sort of 2/3 of the way through the second quarter onwards, it was just like we're coming hard and you get within a goal or thereabouts, and then we just couldn't get the scoreboard to be level, or just get ourselves a nose in front to have them really be concerned and change much with the method with the way we're going about it. But yeah, that was frustrating that we just gave up some easy goals. That, you know, I think first game of the year, everyone's a little bit rusty. I'm sure Bevo's looking at the dog side too, and you know, we've let through 17 goals, they've let through 14. Probably it ended up being a pretty good game of footy, and but I think they'd look at their side and say, you know, that maybe North's got 3 or 4 that we should have been able to prevent, and I reckon they probably will be able to prevent them in about 6 weeks' time. And same with us preventing some of theirs, but everyone's just a little bit rusty and hot, humid conditions. You know, it's tough playing footy in those sorts of conditions. So mistakes are going to happen, unfortunately.
Did you feel, given how many top line players the Dogs were missing, do you feel like it was a real missed opportunity to sort of make the most of that and get a win to start the season? No,
not really. It was just they've got really good depth as a footy club, and it's the system that makes them a good side. So guys just come in, and would they have been better with Bontempelli and these guys in their side? Well, more than likely, but it's the system with which they play. I saw that 2 weeks ago when they played the Hawks down at Launceston. They didn't have all those guys playing then either, and they still knocked the Hawks off in at their home patch down there. So we don't look at it really as a missed opportunity. We just say to ourselves, did we play to the level that we're capable of? And we're pleased that we're more competitive for longer in the game. And I'm sure the Dogs will say, well, glad we got the 4 points and they just move on, because at different stages we really challenged the Dogs today, but just not consistently enough for long enough. But it was consistent enough and long enough, greater than what we were able to produce in the first part of last year.
A pretty awful collision at the end there between Jackson and Luke Cleary. How did you see that one?
Yeah, well, it's just, I haven't looked at a replay of it, but just an unfortunate collision in the game. I hope the young fella's okay. It's a really interesting one. I didn't really know what the free kick was going to be. Was it going to be for too high? Was it going to be for taking the legs out of the opposition? And unfortunately the young fella's been injured, but I hope he comes out of it okay.
Is there anything that can be done to mitigate those sort of things? I know it's an accident. Like, clearly Jackson is attacking the ball as Luke is. In terms of anything Jackson could have done to avoid the collision, do you think? I don't really know the answer to that. You got two. They're both young players just trying to make their way in the game. So there's no malice in it whatsoever. One's doing his best, and so one is coming in hard to compete, and the other guy's going low. And that's what I'm saying around the rules of the game. If you decide to go in low, it better not be that you take the legs of the opposition. If you stay upright though, as in terms of arch coming in, then you run the risk of someone low, you're hitting them in the head with your legs or whatever. So it's a really, really difficult one. But the bottom line is a young fella's been injured, and we just hope that he's going to be okay pretty soon.
Do you anticipate that one's going to get looked at by the match review officer, given it's obviously someone's got hurt in it?
Oh, we've got no idea. They'll look at all incidents. I think any incident that has a player off the ground injured, they'll always. It's their duty to look at any collision that forces a player from the ground. So they'll do their due diligence and let us know what happens.
Was Jackson okay? Because he obviously came off, he grabbed his leg, he went back on, but also I imagine when you're the other end of the incident where someone gets hurt, it really rattle you, right?
Yeah, we were concerned that Arch was hurt as well, but he ended up being okay.
We've seen some good performances from first gamers this round. Fino Sullivan, they seem to be quickly adapting to the pace of the game.
Yeah, he did some good things. We were really pleased with Constanti as well. His tackle pressure and so they'll be better for hopefully next game. There won't be the same sort of nervous energy around first game and when you tell them, and the excitement of family and finally achieving your dream of playing AFL footy. Hopefully that all dissipates a little bit next week and they can just get on with their careers now. But they acquitted themselves well, both those lads, and we're pleased with how they acquitted themselves.
The last time he played the Dogs, Sam Darcy kicked a career best 7 goals, and Comben had to go off quite early because of concussion. Comben plays the full game tonight, does a great job on Sam. How did you view his performance tonight? Yeah, well, as you said, last time they beat us convincingly, and Darcy had a really, really strong game. So it was a different sort of challenge for Charlie in the game tonight to try to limit his influence, and he still did some good things for the Western Bulldogs side too. But we were pleased that Charlie was able to keep him less dangerous than what he was in the game late in the year last year. Just a quick roundup of Darling, Daniel, and Parker. How do you see the new veterans in their new colours? Yeah, well, they all made contributions to our side, and we're a better footy club with them in our club and certainly in our team. So, but they'll need to play. They've played 3 serious games in earnest. One against Melbourne a couple of weeks ago, one in the West against West Coast, and now this week. So I think they'll be much more
aligned with how we want to play and what role they'll play as the weeks go on. But yeah, we think they're going to be really important players for us.
Just Nick Larkey, earlier in the week, it looked like he might be in some doubt. He comes out, kicks 5. How impressive is that, especially after the form he's shown over the last couple of years?
Yeah, well, it was important we had a good focal point, and they were a little bit more polished and accurate than what we were. We had about the same amount of scoring shots, and they just kick a little bit straighter than what we do. But yeah, Nick gave us that focal point up forward and was able to convert his chances pretty well. So we're pleased, because he did have an interrupted preparation. But he's a pro. He got himself right, and it's not just getting himself right to play, but he's getting himself right to perform, which was just as critical. And we're really pleased what he was able to contribute tonight.
Any injuries? I think Logue possibly something. Is it Logue okay? Definitely disc Logue.
Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll get an assessment from the medical crew post this discussion now and see how we go. So. Yeah, disappointed. Pleased that we're in the game, but obviously disappointed that we just gave them a little bit of a leg up at the start and just couldn't reel them back.
Good
on you guys. Thank you.